Finally, it's here. Welcome to the 2024 World Rallycross Championship. We are in Höljes and there is no better place to kick off the season. My name is Chen. I'll be your commentator this year alongside this man, Hal Ridge, aka the Ridge Racer. If you have been involved in rallycross for anywhere between the last 15 to 20 years, and he won't like me saying that, but it's true, you'll know who this man is. Hal, listen, it's going to be an exciting year, isn't it? The first thing we've got to talk about, lots of changes, but the first thing, the battle of technologies. Internal combustion engine versus electric.
It's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out. We've seen the pre-season test earlier in the week. The times were all mixed up, and I think this dynamic of having the fan favourite, we can't get away from that. The fans love the internal combustion engine cars against these state-of-the-art electric supercars, the RX-1Es, is going to be fascinating to see how that unfolds. Completely different drivetrains. They work in different ways. You have to drive them in different ways, so that makes it exciting in itself. I'm going to stick my flagpole in the internal combustion engine department. I am a traditionalist. I like hook and gears. I like pops and bangs. That's for me. Where are you going? I think for the most part, I'm fascinated to see how this is going to play out. I've been lucky enough to drive a lot of these electric cars, and they are fascinating to drive. They've produced great racing over the last couple of years. But like you, I'm from the old school. Have had the pleasure of driving these internal combustion supercars as well. And like you very correctly say, the fans love the noise and the drama. And from the driver's point of view, the gearbox makes a huge difference. In an electric car, the fastest way is single speed, and when you're chasing lap time, it's all about performance. That's absolutely fine, but the dynamics of using the gears and the engine braking to change the balance of the chassis makes it an immersive experience, and I can't wait, genuinely can't wait to see these two different concepts go head to head, because for sure the internal combustion concept is going to be quicker in some places and the electric concept is going to be quicker in others, and it's going to be really interesting to see how that affects the racing and how that plays out across the course of this weekend and the year. That's the key thing, isn't it? There's a variable. There is a different approach to both the internal combustion engine and the electric drivetrain rather, and as you said, there's going to be strengths and weaknesses in different departments, and it's going to open up the championship thing this year. Let's talk about the tyre. New tyres this year as well, slightly harder compound, which changes the driving style a little bit too. Yeah, you've got to remember that the previous tyres that were used have been an evolution carried over decades in the sport. So the new Höljes for this year, everyone's on the same tyre, so it's all about evolving your chassis, changing your setup to make the car work in that environment. For sure, the tyre will behave in a different way to the previous tyres. So it's all about that minor refinement, and that's not going to happen in the first day of racing. It didn't happen in the pre-season test because you need time. You need to be in all of the different weather conditions, scenarios on track. A rallycross track's always evolving, so it's not going to be a quick fix to get right on top of a new rubber, regardless of what it is, and that's going to be interesting too. There's a bit of learning because some of the drivers in there, not a world level, but other drivers, RX-1, have not even used a tyre yet. Today is the first day that they're going to have tried that new tyre, so they're going to need to get switched onto it quite quickly because it is inherently different when it is that much more of a harder compound than the previous tyre. Sticking with World RX. Johan Kristoffersson, for me, he remains at the top of the list. He is an internal combustion engine car. And then Kevin Hansen had a great year. You can never discount Timmy Hansen. I think, whatever way you look at it, this is the first time in a long time where you're going, because of the battle of technologies, we are a little bit unsure as to which way it's going to go. I have to stick with Johan Kristoffersson myself, but what do you think? The form book suggests you've got to go Johan, but Timmy, Kevin, Nicholas Gronholm, Clara Anderson, Gustav Bergson returning this weekend. There's a whole roster there of epically talented drivers, and I think you cannot underestimate how good the Hansen brothers, how good Nicholas Gronholm and Clara are, and this dynamic of having the different cars at play. Cheers, lads. Oh, I understand. The spectators are here already. This is Friday morning. World RX Racing doesn't start until tomorrow. There's some support stuff going on today. Super keen, aren't they? But yeah, it's a totally different dynamic now. We have to assume at this stage an electric car is going to be the best and most consistent off the line. It should launch better. Because even if the start parameters aren't 100% correct, you can't bog. It will at least be consistent. And we saw that the last couple of years in World RX, that the starts were very even. There's a lot can go wrong in an internal combustion launch. Does Johan end up dropping to the back of the pack a bit? Do we need to see him fight through? And that brings us onto the format as well, doesn't it? Because now it's all about position. I wouldn't mind seeing that, because that would be quite a nice thing to see Johan attacking for 5 laps. If he doesn't get the great start that, you know, against the electric cars, it would be quite nice to see him having to get stuck into a race and battling back through. I think that's the potential for everybody who's running the internal combustion engine. And I love to see people having to execute perfectly to try and achieve. And I think what people forget about Johan Kristoffersen, and this is not to make it the Johan Kristoffersen show, but in the recent years, he's run at the front and run consistently quickly. When he won his second title, certainly in 2018, more often than not, he'd had a bad first day, something hadn't gone quite right, and there was a lot of fighting back. And I think, regardless of who you are, whether you're a Hansen, a Gronholm, a Munich, a Bergström, a Kristoffersen, a Veiby, we haven't spoken about Ola Christian, there's going to be a lot of necessity in this new format and with the different technologies to be fighting back all the time. And that's going to be brilliant for us to watch.
And listen, it's not just in World, across all the categories exciting this year, particularly Euro X1.
Euro X1, great entry. There's no returning champion in RX1 or RX3, RX2E, Nils Anderson comes back, so there's going to be new title winners. There's lots of unknowns, but there's lots of amazing talent that we've seen before. So across the board, it's going to be fascinating. And I love the first rounds, new liveries, new drivers in different cars. There's so many variables, you really don't know what's going to happen until Sunday afternoon.
There's a buzz about the place, isn't there? Because everyone's been waiting for this weekend to get going, and there really is a buzz about the place. As you said, fans all the way down Happy Street. We took a little drive down and it's continuing to get busier. Yeah, there is a real buzz about the place, and I think it's incredibly exciting. Should we go?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Mate, quick question. It's 8 degrees. Why are you wearing shorts? It's your thermostat, bro.
Always wear shorts, mate. May to October, shorts.